Europe is facing a migration crisis, mostly refugees from Syria, the Middle East, and North Africa. Overnight, 4,000 migrants arrived in Greece, and now 2,000 people are camped out in the main train station in Budapest, Hungary, where they've been prevented from getting on trains to Germany and other countries in the EU. With us this morning, Bloomberg's Tony Czucka, who is in Berlin. Tony, most Americans haven't been paying attention to this migration crisis. To the degree they talk about migration and immigration, it's a debate over whether we should be building a wall on the Mexican border. This is a huge problem. Help us understand the scale, the scope of it, and where things are headed in Europe.
Well, I think you can take two angles here to illustrate it. One of them is that Germany, where I'm sitting in the capital, says that it may see 800,000 asylum seekers. In other words, people coming to Germany saying that they're being persecuted, which doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be able to stay, but nonetheless, 800,000 people. Which compares with 200,000 last year. So you're looking at a huge increase. And the other thing is, we were talking
just to put it into perspective, 800,000 people is a full percentage point of, or more, of Germany's population.
Yeah, that's right. It's 1 percentage point. So you can say, well, that isn't really that isn't much, and Germany is a very rich country, but it's actually a lot, especially compared to the past. And it would be. We've been looking into this, into the numbers. It would be by far a post-war record for Germany.
So what kinds of pressures is it exposing, or at least is it putting on the European Union, and what kinds of divisions is it exposing?
Well, it's exposing divisions on one level between countries that are, if you like, very generous in taking in asylum seekers and/or refugees, and others which are not. I mean, I'm not going to point any fingers here, but the numbers do show that, for example, Sweden, Germany, Austria, and also now most recently Hungary, as you were saying in the intro, have been very generous in taking in refugees compared to their quote unquote native population. So that's one. So there you have one division. The other is, and I think this is really important. Europe is, for about 20 years now or so, Europe has been built on what they call the Schengen system, which is basically border-free travel, which has expanded as the European Union has expanded. It's now 28 countries. And it's really become a cornerstone of united Europe, in some ways like the euro. And now, because there's this problem of people crossing borders just like that in chaotic circumstances, that is really under threat. And Chancellor Merkel of Germany has said that herself. And just to make that clear, it's like as if you had a threat of whatever, Pennsylvania, reintroducing checkpoints at the New York State border or something. I mean,
is that what Merkel's talking about when she says that the EU must uphold the current legal framework?
Yes, that's right. And of course, as usual in the European Union, there's a set of rules and regulations and agreements among the countries. And this one says that in general, the country where asylum seekers show up first, that is people from outside the EU, that country should handle them, process them, and also decide to send them back if necessary, if it turns out that they're basically economic migrants. And what Merkel is saying is everybody needs to uphold that because it's not happening now.